Alright, so today we're doing a seafood bake slash boil because I tend to steam my broccoli. I don't let that go in the oven. But the roasted potatoes is, the mussels are, lobster tail as well as the shrimp, okay? So what we're going to do first is focus on our potatoes, okay? So I do not combine my potatoes with my seafood. I like them roasted, and I really do like them to have a crunchy to them. I don't like them soft or smushy or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is add my spices and my seasoning. In here is garlic powder, a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of paprika, roasted garlic and herbs. And there is also some garlic black pepper. And this is rosemary and thyme. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I always tend to not do that. This is grated Parmesan and Romano cheese. This is shredded Romano and Parmesan cheese. And then what I'm going to do is add some olive oil. Just a little bit. Use whatever olive oil you want to. Some people like extra virgin. I typically get whatever's on sale for the most part, but extra virgin is one of the best ones. That's pretty good for you. So I'm gonna mix this up pretty good. All mixed up, this is how it's going to look. And one of the keys to making some really good roasted potatoes is putting the pan, heating up the pan. So I put the pan in the oven on 350 for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring my potatoes over here to the stove, and they are ready. This is a non-stick, so you don't really have to do much with it. Just throw the potatoes right there. All right, so all we have left now is the Parmesan cheese. All right, we're going to use this. We're going to put them on top of the potatoes. I always like to start my carbs first. It typically take longer than any other part of the dish. So I typically always start my carb first. And then like my vegetable, probably, depending on what vegetable it is, probably my vegetable next. Just typically depends. Sometimes the vegetable is very last because I like them fresh and crunchy, and I don't like them to be overcooked and soft. So these are kind of close together because I want them to have that nice crispy flavor from that Parmesan cheese. All right, see, this one's already been cut. All right, so it's really simple. Take the lobster tail. These are very small ones. I like big ones from time to time. It depends on what I'm making, but sometimes the big ones, depending on the dish, they're unnecessary. All right, so cut it down the middle, okay? And then you see the little poop. You're gonna pull the meat out like so. This one's a little, okay. You're gonna see the little poop. Just like shrimp, you want to clean it out. Like we don't want no poop in our food, right? You want to clean them. We're gonna rinse in some cool water. I'm gonna say cold because I do cold. So I had put this in the oven when I did the little pan situation with potatoes, and I heated up the pan. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to add the lobster tails in first, okay? And I love when I do everything in one dish. It makes my job even more easier. And I'm putting shrimp. I'm surrounding the lobster tail with the shrimp. And I decided I actually want to do some mussels. So the mussels don't have to cook as long as the shrimp and the lobster tail, so I'm putting those like almost as soon as garlic pepper and garlic pepper and garlic powder. This is some cayenne powder, or cayenne pepper, and some Cajun seasoning. Okay, and then I like to add a little bit of hot sauce to the mix. Get that look. So this is my first time using Old Bay. To also add a little bit, I'm gonna add a little bit of some olive oil. Okay. So we don't have to like season it too much. Like I know this looks like that. I mean the potatoes been in for 9. Typically this size lobster tail only take about 25 minutes to cook, but since I have all that other goodness all up in here, the shrimp and mussel may take a little longer. And that's just, you know, I really just forgot that I don't have any lemon. I forgot to grab lemon while I was out, but that's fine. So we're gonna pour in our yellow onions, some red bell peppers. I use about a whole medium yellow onion. You can use red, which is typically my go-to, but I had a little bit more yellow onions from when I made a particular dish, so I'm gonna use the yellow. Okay, and then we're gonna throw some minced garlic in there. I love a lot of garlic, so a lot of garlic it is, and I like the garlic and the onions to cook together. Now this isn't really a one pot dish. Oh my goodness, I can't think of it, but you guys know what I mean, because it's just because I like things made a certain way and I don't like it all combined, but I do make it for some of my clients like that. So like, as you guys know, with my seafood boil, I love broccoli, so I'm steaming my broccoli in a separate pot. My eggs, I love eggs, that's separate, and we got the potatoes up in there and the seafood there. Okay, so guys, this is the portion where it gets very unhealthy. Okay, so bear with me. I know I'm supposed to be healthy, which this is still a better version. The type of margarine that I use is Smart Balance. I normally use the olive oil one, but they don't have that in this size for whatever reason, so I have that one. But this is garlic powder, garlic powder and black pepper. This is roasted red peppers, cayenne pepper, paprika, Cajun seasoning. And we're gonna add some hot sauce to this joint, you know. And we're gonna stir that up. And don't worry guys, like, I know how it looks. So now I'm gonna add some more butter. I know, a lot of butter, but trust me guys, you need it in order for the sauce to be bomb. Okay, we're gonna add some more butter. I know it's a lot of butter guys, I know. Basically done. I'm gonna add a little bit more hot sauce in there, and I want to add a little bit more jalapeno juice to add to that. Since we don't have that lemon, it's going to help with that bitter taste that I like. Even though jalapenos is not bitter, it'll just help with that. And then this is basically ready. Alright, so what I like to do is pour my sauce in a nice dipping container. Like, I need it in one that's big enough so I can dip some amazing seafood up in there. Okay, I don't like to be restricted or none of that. So no, we made a little bit of a mess, that's okay. Boom, look at that, that looks so good, nice and chunky. There was a little bit of butter left on this spoon before I put it in here, which is fine, it's going to melt, it's still pretty hot. I just like mine chunky like this. So within like a few minutes, the butter, everything will stick to the bottom and the butter is going to be like primarily on top. But I love seasoning like this. I love it. I love it when it looks like this. Like, your stuff don't look like this, please don't ask me to eat it. I'm just kidding. Kinda. Sort of. Y'all, this seasoning and this butter. So what I like to do is I'm gonna let everything still sit with the lid on. And I'm basically mixing everything up, including the lobster tail. I want everything to be mixed up in this sauce, even though we got our dipping sauce. But see, my son doesn't really care for that Cajun sauce, so this is why I also season everything, because he doesn't really care for it. Alright, so the potatoes are done. As you can see, this is the little dots are the cheese that I wanted to cook with. And then when you flip the potatoes over, this is how the cheese roasted with the potatoes. Got like a little rosemary there, and it gives it an extra crunch. It's really good. Like, of course, wait till it cools down to try it. But when I tell you guys, when you go this way, You will not want them boiled potatoes with your seafood bake ever again. Okay? Look how good it looks. I mean, and then I love my broccoli to look green like this. This is the only way I eat it. I don't like it too dark because that means it's overcooked. It took away the nutrients. We don't want that, okay? And you know, the steam is still up in there doing what it's doing with the seafood. Okay, so this is my finished product. This is how I like to eat mine. I take my lobster tail out the shell. I stir my sauce. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna do this. You know, this little thing right quick. I love to start with the lobster tail. Look how good it looks when you dip that joint though. Like, I like to scoop up all type of stuff though.